Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Samantha of Senses of the Soul, and this is my May 2024 Ascension Energies Update. And this month's theme is Being the Light. So, after strengthening our spiritual connection and being illuminated by cosmic coding in April, we now have the opportunity to be the light in May through spiritual awakening. And so the archetype for this month is the enchanter, enchantress, and the focus is the eighth chakra. So that sits just above the head. And the keywords this month for us, and this is what we are going to be embodying, is working with this gateway connection to spirit and the higher self. We can also be working with dream recall, dream work, channeling, heightened altered states. But most importantly, we are pulling in another level of multidimensional consciousness this month. So this requires us to move beyond the physical body and into the higher mind of the eighth chakra. So we're finishing transmuting the shadow integration that took place in April. It was a very tough month, a lot of emotion coming up, a lot of old pain stories. And what we're going to be doing this month is freeing ourselves, okay, from this pain that we were in, so we can not loop anymore in trauma and these old stories that we have going on within us, and be free in our entire vibrational field from them. So in order to do this, we have to move and connect up into this eighth chakra even more and beyond to the higher ninth to 12th chakras. And as I said, these upper chakras are the gateway to higher consciousness. They are definitely the chakras that we must connect with if we are going to evolve out of the old 3D reality. And that's what we're learning to do, and really breaking through this month in May to do that into the eighth chakra. And if we don't do that, what happens is we stay very earthbound and in a limited paradigm of reality, and we continue to loop around in personal patterns. So karmic patterning is done, and we're able to really break free of that now. And as we do that, then we can really further our personal growth and soul expansion and our spiritual ascension. And that's what we will be doing for those of us that are moving up in higher consciousness, moving out of the victim and choosing self-mastery and higher states of consciousness, really wanting to grow, right? So this eighth chakra is also called the rainbow chakra, and it's located just above the head. As I said, it interacts and bridges with the thymus here in the body to support spiritual transcendence. And it is definitely the gateway to universal consciousness. It supports this integration of the lower realms and chakras with the higher vibrating chakras and dimensions. And that's how we are increasing our consciousness through this ascension process. So this level of spiritual embodiment is absolutely the key to us being able to move beyond old paradigms, limitation, stagnation, and the victim consciousness, which is what we are learning to do this year. So the thymus, which sits here, is also known as the awakening gland. It's the seat of the self, and it sits between the heart and the thyroid, and it interacts with this rainbow chakra. So it's essentially a minor eighth chakra here, and it connects to the major eighth chakra here in our vibrational field. And it functions as part of the endocrine and the immune system, as well as being the area where we find the energy and voice for our true knowing. Okay, our true inner knowing. And it plays a really pivotal role in connecting those higher and lower chakras, and is a converging point for all of the energy meridians in the body. So blockages occur in this area when we're afraid of seeing what's going on in our present lives, or past conditioning, or due to ancestral or current past lifetimes trauma. And it acts as I said, this gateway to the multidimensional realm, and be it new consciousness that's entering through the seventh chakra, the crown chakra, or unresolved thoughts and feelings that rise up from the subconscious here, okay, or lower chakras. So those 1 to 4 chakras, you may have found there's lots going on in the body, in these lower down here in the lower area of the body. Transformation has to occur to create enlightened knowing and truthful expression. We have to do this in order to move out of that old density. And so in this, we find spiritual awakening and more peace and harmony within ourselves. So that's what you can look forward to this month if you work with this energy. And I'm going to tell you how to do that in a few minutes. Okay, back to the thymus. The thymus in our body is part of the 8 chakras, I said, in our immune system, and it really helps us to transform the energy of spiritual consciousness or awakening into the physical, emotional, and soulful energy that empowers us to truly embody this new consciousness and our full potential or the true self. And when we become blocked in here, and this is what you can look for this month, you might feel tightness in here or have a lot of emotional achiness in the upper chest. Your immunity might be affected. The endocrine system might be affected and may become compromised. So that's part of the Ascension symptoms to look for this month. But the biggest thing is generally we can also feel very muddled and conflicted in our intellect. And we end up having these battles between the intellect and the emotions of the heart. So there might be a lot of churning within you. And that happened a lot in April as all of that unresolved emotion that was not processed or trauma came up again to be looked at, integrated. Now we're moving into deep, deep healing, and we're really starting that as we move into May. So take a look for that in yourself, and that's how you'll know a lot of it's happening. And when we enter realms transcending the concepts of space and time, we are working up in that 8th chakra. And this energy center really opens us to access parallel universes and lives so that we can really make great change in ourselves. It really gives us access to all that is, and then unlimited possibilities. So we move out of those old stories. So it's really exciting. We've got a lot of leverage this month to move into this greater sense of spiritual awakening. So, and this month's archetype that you can work with and embody is the enchanter, enchantress. And the shadow of this is the tempter, temptress. So the enchanter, enchantress really learns to engage with universal consciousness so that it can be the light. And this is what you can be embodying this month. And it allows you that full and complete alignment with your highest truth. It really allows you to live in that higher heart and really embody light and embody love unconditionally. So this really sets you free from those old stories. It serves as a guardian, this archetype, to these multidimensional realities and is a shepherd of universal truth. So it really enables us to integrate, as I said, those lower realms and chakras in us with the higher vibrating dimensions that support fifth dimensional living and beyond. So it really provides that portal. Okay, so we can, when we are connected that way, really interpret divine guidance. And this is by assisting us in fully feeling. So this is why all this feeling's been coming up, because we have to fully feel on all levels and really expand our sensory system in order to integrate multidimensional consciousness with this sense of grace and surrender. So you might find you cry a lot more this month again, and you're surrendering and releasing and letting go. And that's okay, because that's all part of this as we move through and you let go of those old stories and that victim consciousness. And so, with this higher consciousness and guidance and shadow healing, that comes in for us this month. And a lot of times you might be doing, again, dreaming. So, you might have had a lot of dreams last month again, but you might get into deeper healing dreams this month. The enchanter, enchantress really helps us with that. Or you may be channeling information better. You may have some mystical experiences or move into heightened alter states, when you're in that dream wake cycle. And this is a good time to also, if you have shamanic skills, to develop those this month. So it really helps you overall in this everyday 3D reality to break cycles of trauma and conditioning and any emotional repression that's been there, which again, when that sits there, it really affects our immune system. Okay, for one thing, really keeps our immunity locked down and keeps us again in cycles of disease. Okay, and just feeling a lot of fatigue, etc. So whenever we have that unresolved trauma and conditioning and emotional stunting that is, it's suppressed in that subconscious here, it really affects us. And it affects the eighth chakra overall because it's aligned with that, and it impedes us from aligning with a greater sense of who we are and why we're here. So when we embody the enchanter, enchantress, it aids us in attuning to higher messages about the changes that we need to make in our lives via spiritual wisdom. And it supports us to strengthen our contact, our connection, and our metaphysical attunement with the collective consciousness of all of humanity, the planet, and the universe. And it also allows us for really reclamation of our power, our courage, and responsibility in service to the higher good, because we no longer then feel separate. We know that we affect each other, and we can get deeply connected to nature, so even more so than before, and animals and the universe, and we intrinsically merge into this state of oneness. And we go back to our natural state of being, which is light and love. That's who we really are when we're not in our trauma, when we're not in our conditioning, we're not in the densities of the 3D world. We are love and light. So let's talk about the shadow of the enchanter, enchantress, which is the tempter, temptress. So what happens is when we open up more to this sensitivity and multidimensional consciousness, and all of the energies that have been coming in through the cosmic events, is we can become very overloaded by psychic, intuitive, and or empathic information, okay, from everything around us. So it's very hard to tell anymore what's yours and what's theirs, and you're battling internally a lot with a lot of this emotion and intellect and psychic information that's coming in. It's hard for you to know what's yours, what's theirs, and you can have these unconscious cords with other people and past pain and trauma. So this keeps you in that state of disharmony and disconnection and overwhelm. And what can happen is we can then be very tempted to engage in lower vibrational behaviors that really drag down yourself and others. And we, as I said, lower our vibration when we do this, and we stay in that state of disharmony and disconnection. So it's really important to keep grounding yourself and learning to rein in and establish firm emotional and energetic boundaries through this. That's what's going to help you move to that higher consciousness in terms of letting go of the past. And this month, we're going to become even more sensitive. And you may be finding through the ascension process, you're becoming more and more and more sensitive, so much so that you have to take a little more time out, away, put in boundaries with people, limit how much you're around people, have more downtime. And that is natural. As we learn to connect back to all that is, we are going to become more sensitive. And we need to look after our physical, emotional, and mental health more and more in order to find this balance as we go through this incredible process that we are going through. So what you can do this month is, as I said, take more time out, continue to hone your energetic boundaries with others, take as much time as you need, walk in nature, ground yourself a lot. That includes even walking in your bare feet, standing out on the grass. Another thing would be, don't gossip about others. Don't engage in any lower behavior, because this decreases the light within you and you just pass on pain stories. Okay. So also stay away from toxic people and situations that cause you internal disharmony. So you can really feel it in yourself if what you're saying or you're thinking, okay, and this is where we have to really watch our mind and what we're thinking and how we're feeling. And if it's causing you disharmony, then work with that, sit with it and work with it. Don't suppress it because it's come up already. You can't anymore. Anyway, if you wanted to, and work with that to really find harmony in yourself. And as I said, even last month, challenge those thoughts in your mind that are negative and are just simply not true. So again, remember, you're letting go of the past. That is not true anymore as you go forward in terms of who you are. You're here to shine your light. You're here to be of service, and you have talents that are needed here in the world. So that's what you're learning as you go through this. Okay? Just really stay away from anything that's going to make you feel disharmonious inside of yourself. And that will help quite a bit this month. Okay. So, symptoms this month that you might find as you go through, and again, this is how you'll know you're more in that tempter temptress shadow archetype, is psychic and emotional congestion, emotional and sensory overwhelm, intellectual emotional conflict. You may want to escape more, spaciness, dizziness, headache, feeling ungrounded, lacking motivation or courage, or just not wanting to be responsible anymore. You just don't want to deal with this. You don't want to be here. Okay. Dealing with this whole ascension process. You can go through existential crisis. You can feel directionless, disconnection, and lethargic. So there might be a lack of clarity. You might have more of an ego-based focus, and you might be over-focused on earthly matters. So all of that means you just really have to spiritually surrender and trust and really know that you are being guided, that there is a divine order to everything and divine timing. And that's important to remember this month as you go through this. And for more, please see my monthly Ascension update, written one on my website. I have much more in there in detail about the Ascension process this month, as well as these Ascension symptoms for you. And with monthly specials, I have a few monthly specials this month for you to support you on your ascension path. So I have my enchanter, enchantress, essence, and elixir. I have the metal element essence because we are in the metal cycle of creation this month. And that cycle supports humility, service, the embodiment of yourself as a spiritual being, releasing and transforming your grief into life experience, and finding a flexibility of will and willingness to learn lessons related to inner power and ensuring your actions are in alignment with your values. Okay. This is all about knowing that you have a choice, this metal cycle of creation. It's about living authentically, being courageous, being flexible, and walking your talk. So I have the metal element essence there to support your vibration in that, as well as the galactic shapeshifter, which is an archetype that we are embodying all year long as we go on this galactic hero's journey, right until 2032. And this is about learning to really walk this path so you get to the heart of who you are. And the galactic shapeshifter essence that I have supports you in that as well. Okay. So lots of support there for you that way. And then we have cosmic dates, and cosmic dates that are supporting our increased consciousness and ascension paths this month. There are quite a few. And one of those comes on May 5th. We have the 5-5 gateway. And this is a gateway that really represents this sense of spiritual awakening. It's bringing that energy in for you. It's going to give you a leg up, and there's change coming and growth, and that there's going to be new experiences coming into your life. Okay. And it's really important as you go through the 5-5 gateway to stay brave, positive, trust your intuition, and really recognize your personal growth, that you are making progress, even if it seems slow. Then we have a May 6 and 7, we have the peak of a meteor shower. And as always, that brings in more illumination to support you on your path. And then we have the May 7th new moon in Taurus. And then we have a 5-8-8 gateway on May 8th. Again, very powerful start to the month as we move into May. And this is where, again, and I've said this before, as you raise your vibration, as we move into this greater sense of spiritual awakening, connection to all that is, okay, as we bring in more of that metaphysical attunement, it's very important to watch your words, thoughts, and actions, because things will manifest very quickly into physical reality. So really focus on your desires and visualize them happening in your life, okay? Especially as you move into and through that 5-8-8 gateway on May 8th, all right? So know that you are more in alignment now than ever with the universe, okay? Now, that doesn't mean things are always going to go perfect. It means you're more in tune with your higher self in the universe. So keep trusting your journey. And even when things get challenging, because you are going to learn to navigate so much better as you spiritually awaken and move into this different awareness of life. Okay, and then we have a full moon in Sagittarius on May 23rd. So another supportive month from the benevolent universe when we move through this incredible ascension journey that we are on. So I hope that this was helpful for you this month and that it really aids you on your ascension journey. I have many offerings to support you, so check out my website and please reach out to me if you need to. We are all in this together, and I thank you so much for being on this ascension journey with me and watching my videos and supporting me in all the ways that many of you do. And please look at my full ascension update on my website. As I said, there's more there. So I'm sending you lots of love and support, and I will see you next week with my weekly ascension reading.